This is the download from Sounds Profitable, the most important news from this week and why it matters to people in the business of podcasting. I'm Manuela Bedoya.
And I'm Shreya Sharma. The download is brought to you by Magellan AI. Track the trends in spend, ad load, and more with Magellan AI's advertising benchmark report for Q1, available now. You can find a link in the description or visit magellan.ai.
This week, AM/FM radio and podcasts could recapture lost TV reach. Digital ad spend is showing promising recovery. FTC urges against blurred advertising in children's content. And the CDC's new flu vaccine campaign includes audio. Let's get started.
A new study from Maru and Matchbox National Studies surveyed 1,003 respondents this August on their TV habits during the ongoing WGA and SAG-AFTRA strike. 27% of respondents say they'll watch less linear TV this fall season due to increased reruns of old content, game shows, and reality TV. Among those who said they'll watch less TV due to strike-altered content, 68% said they intend to replace TV watching time with listening to podcasts, music, and AM/FM radio. Using Nielsen ComsPoint data from 2021, Bouvard demonstrates that moving 20% of a $4 million TV campaign's budget to AM/FM radio increases reach with people aged 25 to 54 by 70%. As Sounds Profitable as the medium moves, the message study demonstrated back in March, podcasting was getting close to TV's weekly reach with viewers aged 18 to 34 before the strike even started. As fall TV slowdown kicks in, audio's already valuable contributions to multimedia ad buys potentially will grow even more. After many months of recession woes and economic uncertainty throwing advertising for a loop, signs point toward the industry healing. First, from a Digiday article posted this Tuesday, Booster's 2023 media ad sales trend report and Operative's H1 2023 benchmarking report both show publisher digital advertising revenue is recovering from the advertising decline that started last year. Hearst Magazine also reports an upswing in an interview on the Digiday podcast. EVP Lisa Howard told Digiday that she's seeing more requests for proposals from advertisers for 2024 than this time last year. According to Ad Exchanger coverage of a recent Magna forecast, U.S. media advertising sales increased 4.4% in Q2, beating June expectations by 0.8%. Magna has revised their 2024 ad spend forecast from 5% growth to 5.6%, with the potential for up to 8% thanks to the U.S. elections and 2024 Olympic Games. Adweek does note that while marketers in travel, pharmaceuticals, retail, and consumer packaged goods delivered strong spending in Q2, spend was flat or slightly up for automotive and entertainment. Financial and tech sectors are still down year over year in the Magna data. As Adweek suggests, the digital ad sales pulling out of a trench might not be pulling traditional media back up with it. This Monday from Ryan Barwick at Marketing Brew, the Federal Trade Commission has published new recommendations for advertisers intending to further distinguish the difference between entertainment and advertisement. The more organic and content-like an advertisement is, the more the FTC is concerned the children won't be able to understand they're watching a paid advertisement. Here's a quote from Samuel Levine, director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection. "We now live in a world where kids spend many hours a day online, often in immersive environments where advertising and content are deliberately difficult to distinguish." End quote. The FTC post urges that kids' entertainment and educational content should be clearly defined from ads, with visual and verbal cues to signal the children are about to watch an ad. On the publishing side, the FTC recommends bringing back some version of the old school "We'll be right back after these commercial messages" disclaimer before an ad break. For ads, they recommend that stakeholders develop a widely used on-screen icon that tells kids money or free product was provided to content creators to advertise a product. These new recommendations tie into the FTC's endorsement guidelines that were updated earlier this summer, furthering the goal of clearly separating advertisement from content and defining endorsement.
This Wednesday from Ad Exchanger's Hannah Yu, flu vaccination rates have plummeted for both pregnant people and children, 16% and 7% respectively, leading to elevated rates of severe flu cases, hospitalization, and deaths. In part, this is attributed to the misconception flu vaccines are ineffective due to frequent online testimony that vaccinated people caught the flu anyway. To combat the misinformation, the Center for Disease Control has launched a targeted ad campaign communicating that vaccines greatly decrease the intensity of the flu if you do catch it. The campaign is set to run September through January, specifically targeting pregnant people and parents of younger children with paid placement in digital environments where they're spending time and seeking health information. In addition to traditional Facebook and Instagram placements, the CDC is also working with pregnancy app Peanut, micro-influencers, and a series of digital radio spots on Pandora. If podcasting can get its foot in the door, our industry is primed to play a vital role in similar public health campaigns in the future. Repeatedly, podcasting has proven its ability to target niche audiences well, using contextual targeting of first-party data. And podcast audiences have a track record of high attention and engagement with creatives made specifically for podcasts. Radio spots on Pandora is a good first step, but it's up to podcasting if we want to pitch in on the next wild to mild sized public health campaign. Finally, it's time for quick hits. These are articles that didn't quite make the cut for today's episode, but are still worth including in your weekend reading. This week, I'm Not Exactly Sure What You Do by Tom Webster. There are many people out there who would love podcasts if only we could easily tell them what podcasts are. Next, You Don't Deserve an Audience by Steve Pratt. Pratt interviews Tom Webster on the hard work one needs to put into a podcast to properly grow one. Also, NASA to release first full season of Spanish language podcast by Reem Makari. In time with the celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, NASA is launching its first full podcast in Spanish. Also, Top Spenders, Movers and Shakers in August by Magellan AI. The top spenders include HelloFresh, Amazon, and BetterHelp. And finally, Triton Digital unveils Canada Podcast Trends Report. The snapshot of Canada's podcast landscape includes the finding that listeners downloaded 4.4 episodes per week on average, and the top day of the week for podcasting is Wednesday, with peak times between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern. And that was The Download, brought to you by Sounds Profitable. Today's episode is hosted on Art19. Find out more at art19.com. I know we went through today's stories fast, so be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned, right in your podcast listening app or on soundsprofitable.com/podcast. And thank you for sticking with us as we bring you the top stories you might have missed from the past week. I'm Manuela Bedoya.
And I'm Shreya Sharma. Our producers are Brian Barletta, Gavin Gaddis, and Tom Webster. Special thanks to Art19 for hosting The Download. And as always, thank you to you for joining us. Robot?
Download complete.